might have heard the term social movement, okay, and popular movement. A lot of social movements and popular movements are organized around the issue of environment, ecology, the rights of the marginalized community, Adivasi. So in this class, we would try to understand that what are social movements, what are popular movements, and we will also take the example of a few environmental movement such as Chipko Andolan, Narmada Bachao Andolan, and we should try to understand that how these movements are changing politics outside, how the marginalized communities are coming together, they are protesting, they are fighting for their rights. And you are going to complete your study. After that, you will become policy makers, or maybe that some of you may become activists, environmental activists, okay, and go and work in the field. I know Asmarth has been very active, so he goes to participate in so many movements. So I hope that this class turns out to be useful for you. So the first question somebody would ask that what is social movements, okay, and one thing you have to keep in mind that there is no a standard definition of social movements, okay, that I will give you 2 + 2 = 4. It is not like that. There are many types of social movements, there are new social movements, there are old social movements, all kinds of debates are there. But in this class, I will be talking about some basic things. What are the social movements? The social movements, you can say that it is sustained collective action over time. So if you come together around any issue and if you wage any struggle for some time, it takes the form of social movement. And there is also some degree of organization and leadership also in social movements. You might have heard the term political party, okay, Rajnitik Dal. So the political party is different from a social movement in a sense that political party has got permanent structure, okay, permanent bureaucratic structure, organization. You have president, general secretary, vice president, joint secretary, okay, Delhi chapter, Delhi office, Punjab office, Bihar office. So social movement is not like a political parties in a sense that it is not very much organized. There is no clear-cut leadership. You know, if I ask you that, okay, you tell me who is the leader of party A, you know it, who is the leader of party A. You know who is the leader of party B, you know it very clearly. You will see that the picture of that leader will be all the time. But social movement is not like political parties which has got very rigid bureaucratic organization or leadership. But yes, some degree of organization is there. And also we have seen in some social movements some leadership is also there, okay. You will see that some faces are also there. And why organization is important? Because when people come together and we have to make any decision, then some kind of organization has to be there, okay. So, and then there is also some goal about the social movement, that what is the goal. Now in Chipko movement, the villagers in Uttarakhand, they came together and they questioned the kind of development model which was being pursued by the government. So there is also some goal, and social movement is being organized for bringing about change, and people come together, make policy, make groups, and they fight over some issues. So you could ask me that, sir, if you have got political parties, if our country has got democracy, okay, bureaucracy, judiciary, press, then what is the need of social movement, okay? So the rise of social movement or popular movements are also somehow questioning the limitation of political parties, because political parties are not able to take up all those issues. Political parties are not able to highlight the issues of the marginalized community. So the marginalized communities, when they feel that their interests, their rights are being threatened, they come together. So the first thing you have to keep in mind that, okay, we have got democracy, our country has got democracy. Democracy can only be run when there is an election. Election can only be held if there are political parties, and political parties have their manifesto. They talk about different issues. They say 10 things, and when they come to power, they do not implement all of them. So these structures are very much there. We have media, we have judiciary. Despite all those things, there are issues which are left out, and particularly the areas where marginalized people's interests are being hurt, that areas are not being so passionately taken up by the political parties. And here your discipline, environmental science, will come into the picture, that the issues around environmental degradation, these are still not very much on the center of let's say political parties manifesto. It is still not the focus of the political parties. So these areas are left out, and that is why we have seen the rise of social movements and popular movements. So the first thing you have to keep in mind that popular movements or social movements, these are non-party movements. Okay, they are not run by any political party. And why it is non-party movements? Because people have realized that our issues are not taken up by the political parties. So what has happened, that the issues which are very close to the marginalized social groups, when their interests are being harmed, when the developmental projects are not looking into their interests, that is the occasion when people come out, they protest, and these social and popular movements are very much outside the domain of electoral politics. Okay, so some people would argue that, okay, this is not good for democracy, it leads to all kind of problem for developmental project. But this is not the argument. The argument should be that participation of people should not be seen as a threat. What is democracy? Democracy means for the government, by the government, and when people are coming up for their own interest, okay, when the people are coming up for their issues to be addressed, we should not look at that these are very bad things. There is a tendency, those people who are sitting in the government, if you go and if you protest, okay, there is a crisis, there is a problem related to water, or maybe trees are being cut, then your movement will be looked at by those who are sitting at the top. Oh, why they are coming? Okay, they are coming to disrupt us. Okay, so these are not good. But as a scholar, you should argue that if their issue had been addressed by the government or by the political party, they might have not come. But why they are coming? They are coming because the political parties have largely failed to address their issues. So the question should not be asked that why they are coming. The question should be asked, what kind of developmental model is being carried out that these people are forced to come out in the street. So the argument will be that social movements and popular movements, they are not bad for democracy. Okay, they are not bad for democracy. But there is also criticism of social and popular movement. That social and popular movement is very narrow in its scope. For example, in your areas, trees are being cut. Okay, so you come out in the street and you protest, we will not allow trees to be cut. But maybe 5 kilometers away from your place, some workers are not being paid proper wages. Okay, so they are protesting there at that place for their own rights. So what should be the proper way? That there should be a coordination between all those who are marginalized. But such coordination is not being seen, and social and popular movements are not very broad based. This is one criticism. So the argument should not be that we should abandon social and popular movements. The argument is that make it much more broad based. You should you fight for your own rights, okay, but you should also express your solidarity with other people. That is how your movement will become stronger. Suppose if you are fighting here for, let's say, saving trees, and she is fighting, let's say, in Kerala for saving water. So if you have some connections, if you have some network, okay, and if you communicate with each other, if you give solidarity to her and if she gives solidarity to you, then your movement will become much more stronger. So the argument is that any social and popular movements which we are trying to participate, we should try to broaden our horizon, okay, we should try to have connections and network with all kinds of environmental movements and other movements so that we get solidarity. Let me also go back to history of social and popular movements around environment. Ghanshyam Shah is a well-known scholar of social movements, and I have shared his book with you. You have to read it. There is a chapter on human rights and environmental movements. Okay, this is the last chapter of his book, so you can read only those pages which are related to environmental studies. Okay, so Ghanshyam Shah has said that in 1972 United Nations held a conference, okay, and that conference was on human environment, and that conference in 1972 has created a ground for other institutions, other movements to take up environmental issues seriously. So the first major event related to environmental politics or green politics goes back to 1972, and United Nations has said that there is a need to protect environment, there is need to improve environment for the present generation and for the future generation. We need to protect them, okay. So after this meeting, across the globe, so many educational institutes, research institutes, they came up, so many activists started working full time, and your university, which is studying, let's say, natural resources and environment, particularly the history of this movement, okay, this university or maybe the founder can be linked to the way United Nations is talking about in 1972. So you have to keep in mind that in 1972 United Nations Conference on Human Environment is very major event, and maybe that you could do some more research and find out what United Nations has said and how those things are still relevant, and what are the issues which were taken up, what are the issues which were forgotten with the passage of the time. So after this United Nations conference, green politics, eco-green politics, green movement in Europe and in other parts of world, particularly in America, they started. And with this slowly a network of environmentalists grew, and in India also there were several organizations, they were set up and they started talking about saving and protecting environment. Have you heard the name of the Center for Science and Environment? So the Center of Science and Environment was also set up, okay, following all those green movements, and you might be knowing Sunita Narayan, okay, she is the director of that center, and it has published several reports on environmental issues, and I request you that you should try to visit its website, or you should try to read reports, and you should keep in touch with all those people who are associated with it, because in India, if you have to do environmental politics, if you have to be updated about what is happening, this institutions is very important. And Ghanshyam Shah is saying that it has published several reports, 5 reports, maybe that there may be many more reports published. and this office is located in Center for Science and Environment is located in New Delhi. So Sunita Narayan is with the Center for Science and Environment since 1982, and she started heading it since 2002, and her research is very much based around global democracy, climate change. So now we will go back to Chipko movement. So far what I have tried to say, if you have not been able to, let's say, fully grasp what I have said, 3-4 things I have said. We have got democratic system in this country. Political parties are working. Despite all those structures, the issues of environment, the interest of the marginalized communities, they are not properly addressed. So by 1970s and 80s, in Indian politics, we have seen the rise of social and popular movements. Okay, so the social and popular movements are not very much like political parties. Okay, it is not strictly organized, it has got no bureaucracy, it has got no one leader, it is very loose organization where people come together, and when people come together they raise some issues. Okay, so they have raised issues around, let's say, farmers issue, peasants issue, let's say workers issue, but here we are interested in environmental issues. Okay, so what kinds of environmental issues they have raised. And I have also said that the 1972 conference which took place in the United Nations, that was very important. Okay, that has influenced, that has started a new journey for the green movement, and slowly so many educational institutes, research institutes, universities, journalists, activists, they all came up and they started building network, and by 1970s and 80s we have the rise of green politics. Okay, the rise of green movement, and these movements are outside political parties or inside political parties? Outside political. Why outside political parties? Because political parties have not shown much interest. So our argument is not that we should abolish political parties. No, we are showing the limitation of political parties. Political parties are of course important for forming the government, but since they have not taken up those issues, so those issues are now getting a space in social and popular movements. एक तरह का प्रेशर ग्रुप बन गए, एक तरह का प्रेशर ग्रुप बन गए. मुझे लगता है प्रेशर ग्रुप से भी बड़ी बात हो गई. सी प्रेशर ग्रुप when we say ना, in my understanding pressure group is very narrow. Okay, very narrow in scope, very limited. But here when thousands of people, when lakhs of people, if they rally, if they come together, we cannot say that they are only a pressure group. Okay, it is much beyond or much bigger than the pressure group. So the Chipko movement, I will try to discuss two movements in this country which are very, very important. One is called Chipko movement. So the Chipko movement started in 1973 in Uttarakhand. Okay, so the people from a few villages in Uttarakhand, they came together. Okay, and it was started in 1973. So what was the reason? You should understand what was the reason. The reason is that the forest department did not allow people to get some tree. Okay, so to have access to trees, they were stopped. No, this is not good, you just keep away. Okay, it is not good for, let's say, they gave multiple reasons, but the same forest department, okay, and the administration allowed a sports company, okay, to go there and use those resources. So that has created anger among the people, that when common man goes to jungle for their need, you are not allowing them. Okay, but on the other hand, you are throwing those resources to big sports companies which will cut trees and make all kinds of the products and sell it. So people became very angry. They protested against the decision of the authority, and the movement spread far and wide. So with the Chipko movement in 1970, the issues about environment, government, development, ecology, exploitation, these were being raised. You could say that this is very a small issue. Some local people, some villagers were not allowed. That issue is not so local, okay, because that was the spark, okay, and that spark has given the fire. It has given the fire of the debate, and people started talking about, okay, what kind of development model India is trying to follow. So the movement became so powerful that finally the government decided to stop, to ban the cutting of the tree for 15 years. Okay. So the one good thing about this movement was that large number of women who are also sitting in the class, okay, in my class women are in majority. So they took part in that movement. So you have to also keep in mind that generally the society says that women should be at home, they should cook good meal, okay, they should make paratha and roti and sabji. But women went out, they did politics, they mobilized people, they protested against the authority, they questioned the development model. So when we have to study Chipko Andolan, Chipko movement, we have to keep in mind the role of women also. So you might have heard the term ecofeminism. Yes. So the ecofeminism, okay. So we will discuss what is this ecofeminism. So in this class we also agree with the view that women are not only here to make roti for the men, okay, and chapati for the men. We also want to study, we also want to do politics, we also want to change the society. So women are the engine for the social change. Do you agree with this point, or will you protest it? Or will you take the side of male authority?
Completely agree to
that she should be the motor of the change. So Chipko Andolan should not be seen as a localized event. It has influenced other movements across this country, or maybe outside India also. So that issue was for the time being addressed by the authority by saying that, okay, there is a ban for 15 years, okay, but that gave a new energy to people outside who were also suffering from bad anti-people development model. Now we will go back to Narmada Bachao Andolan. This Narmada Bachao Andolan started in 1980s. So what is the background? The background is that in Gujarat or in central India, there was a big project. The project was that 35 big dams will be constructed, 135 medium-sized dams should be constructed. So many dams were to be constructed, and it was a big project. It was being promoted that it will address the issue of drinking water. This dam project will also give water for irrigation, electricity will be generated, okay, and then development will be made, and although the states which are around Gujarat, they will all be beneficiary. It is good, but there was also another side of this story, that with this dam people would also be displaced. A large number of people, I think 2,50,000 people were to be displaced. So those people who were to be displaced, they became threatened obviously, because their livelihood, their life was in danger. So that issue has also created news, it created debate, and people came together to form Narmada Bachao Andolan. Okay, and that Narmada Bachao Andolan should also be studied in detail, and I would give you another book to review. The book is by Amita Bhavishkar. I have already shared the book in the group. Amita Bhavishkar. Amita Bhavishkar has written full book on this Narmada Bachao Andolan, and the name of the book is In the Belly of River. In the Belly of River. Why this book is important? Because it is not the story of only Gujarat and few states in central India, but it is about the development model which is going to affect the Adivasi community, the poor people negatively. It's a full book, you must read it. And I am telling you, this book will help you get insights, so that tomorrow if you go to, let's say, study some other project, maybe, then those insights will be very, very useful. So around, I have already told you that 3 big dams, 135 medium sized dams, and 3,000 small dams were to be constructed. So it was big project, and now the supporters of the dam argued that it is very good. It will give you drinking water for drinking, water for irrigation. It will generate electricity. Agricultural productions will be increased, and it will benefit hugely Gujarat and other adjoining states. But Narmada Bachao Andolan opposed those projects, and the movement was started. Narmada, save Narmada. You have heard the name of Meda Patekar? Who has not heard the name of Meda Patekar? You have heard the name of Meda Patekar?
I've heard.
Okay. So Narmada Bachao Andolan was led by Meda Patekar. So the Save Narmada project was launched, and the supporters argued that 245 villages may be drawn, and 2,50,000 people might be displaced. So the Narmada Bachao Andolan earlier took up the issue of rehabilitation. Okay, rehabilitate those people. But slowly Narmada Bachao Andolan changed his position and said, stop this dam project. So there was so much fight, and fight means not physical fight. There was debate, and the matter was taken to Supreme Court. So what Supreme Court has said? Okay, suppose if you are Supreme Court, I am asking, suppose if you are the judge of the Supreme Court, and she has brought, let's say, a dam project, okay, and I am opposing the dam project. So I am saying that so many people will lose their life, okay, and she is saying that we will get electricity, it will be good for the development. So what will be your judgment?
I would not even come to judgment. I don't know much about it.
No. I have given you the situations, okay, that you are the judge, and one party is saying that this is very good for country because we will get water, electricity, and another set of people are saying no, 250,000 people will be displaced, this is not good, we do not want. So what will be your decision?
So I'm expecting the court would see that if...
No, you are the court, you are the judge.
Okay, so this many people are being affected by it, and it will later on cause more harm to the natural resources and to the human resources as well. So I would not primarily go for it.
Okay, so you will not go with the project, but the Supreme Court took a very different decision. We will discuss it. You may support it, you may not support it. So the Narmada Bachao Andolan opposed this project, is question development, is question that the people's interests are not being looked into. It has said that in this democracy, the rights of the poor people are being ignored, and it has also said, like you, that let's have cost benefit analysis of this dam. Okay, let's have cost benefit analysis of this dam and decide. And it has raised the issue of social cost, displacement, loss of livelihood, and it has also argued very powerfully that locals must have first right over the natural resources. So in this course, I always try to bring community. And this community means why I bring community, and why even in several even report also the community has also been stressed, that community participation is important. The aboriginal people, Adivasi, they should also be involved, because if Adivasis and local people are living close to jungle, okay, so their needs should be given priority than the needs of, let's say, big corporate companies. And if local people use jungle or forest products, okay, or maybe natural resources, then that will not cause any harm. But if big companies came, okay, and if they try to take away resources, then it will cause, they will cause harm at much bigger scale. So Narmada Bachao Andolan has brought out this question of development, social cost, and also why not locals. I have also shared with you the reading of Mahatma Gandhi. The book Mahatma Gandhi wrote, it is called Hind Swaraj. He wrote the book while he was on ship Jahaz. He was on ship in 1909, some 110 or 15 years back. And in this book, you should read it, very easy to understand. The book comprises 80 pages, okay, and this book is written in a dialogical form. What is this dialogical form? That the reader will ask a question. Hello Gandhiji, what do you think about India? Hello Gandhiji, what do you think about civilization? Hello Gandhiji, what do you think about modern civilization? Hello Gandhiji, what do you think about machine? So the question the reader will ask, and then the Gandhiji will reply. So read it, because Gandhiji also saying something about ecology also, and machine also, industrialization also. So Narmada Bachao Andolan has said locals must have first claims over, let's say, resources. And Gandhiji's idea of Swaraj is also very much linked with what Narmada Bachao Andolan is saying. What is this Swaraj? Swaraj doesn't mean that I will not buy anything from outside. Swaraj doesn't mean, or Swadeshi. Swadeshi doesn't mean that this pen is made in another country, I'll throw it away. That is not Swaraj. The basic idea of Swaraj is that we should be self-sufficient, economy should be decentralized, and our economy should be organized in such a way that we take care of our resources locally. We should not be dependent on outside companies for our needs. If it is needed to buy it, then it's okay. For example, you need, what do you need in your daily use? You need cloth. Okay, you need, let's say, shirt or sari or kurta. So why can't we weave? Why can't we promote our own, let's say, charkha, something like that? Because it is much more ecologically sound. Okay, so the Gandhiji was, suppose if you need medicine to save people, and that medicine is not here, that medicine is made, let's say, some other countries. So Gandhiji would not come and say, okay, let people die, we will not buy from outside. He is not saying that boycott everything. He is basically saying, why can't we have our needs addressed by the things which are locally produced? You have earlier traveled in, let's say, train. If you travel in local train, you can get guava, you can get berry, you can get fruits. But if you travel, let's say, in hi-fi train, those ferry wala, okay, those people who are selling guava, they are poor people, they are not allowed to enter the big compartment. Okay, why they are not allowed to come inside? Because they do not have license. The license has got some big companies. Okay, so the basically, if Gandhiji would have been in that compartment, in that train, he would have opposed it. If the train has reached, let's say, Kanpur, the people of Kanpur should sell something in train. No? Why some caterer from, let's say, Chennai should provide everything in the train? So the Gandhiji was not against foreign goods. Gandhiji was basically stressing that we should try to use local products. We should be self-sufficient. This is the spirit of Swadeshi. Swadeshi doesn't mean that if she is, let's say, having some dress which is not made in India, let's say, I will try to pull it down. No, that is not. That is violence. It's not for violence. If something is needed, let's say, if you need to buy books, if you need to take technology from some other countries, we will take it. But we are buying achar, pickles. We even cannot make pickle locally. Na? Even the sauce we are buying from the big companies. Can't we make sauce, chutney? You can't make it at our home. So this is very fundamental thing we have to keep in mind. Locals, decentralized economy, Swadeshi. If that spirit is not in you, then the kind of lifestyle which we are following, it will not last long. I have told you in the previous class, I keep repeating that if the lifestyle which is being followed by the West, by the people in the, let's say, advanced Western countries, if the same lifestyle is to be followed by each and everybody, then we need 3 planets, not 1. So we are not against taking something from outside. We are not so narrow-minded. We do not hate others. This is not the argument. Even Gandhiji was also educated, let's say, abroad. He never hated Englishmen. He never hated any Angrez. He hated Angrezi system. There is a difference between hating Angrez and hating exploitative Angrezi system. Even many Angrez, British, they supported India's freedom struggle. There were many followers of Gandhiji who were not Indians, but they were foreigners also. They were Britishers. They were British also. So this Narmada Bachao Andolan is bringing same Gandhian debate. Local should have first claim over the resources. So the matter went to court, Supreme Court, and Supreme Court has given the judgment. And the judgment was that government can continue with this dam project, but the people should be properly rehabilitated. So how many of you think that this decision was correct? Yes, what do you think? If you were the judge, let's say Supreme Court, what decision you might have given?
So there are multiple factors which needs to be taken in consideration.
Okay, court has said that the government should continue with the dam project, but people should be rehabilitated. So the demand of Narmada Bachao Andolan that the dam project should be stopped, that was not entertained by Supreme Court. It only talked about proper rehabilitation. So this judgment is also very much linked to the way we looked at environmental issues. Some people believe, like Jagdish Bhagwati. Again, we should go back to Jagdish Bhagwati. He is saying, okay, development is important. Okay, growth is important. Make good policy. So Supreme Court has given judgment like Jagdish Bhagwati. Dam is okay, but have some policies for the rehabilitation of the people. So don't think that the way philosophers and thinkers are speaking and writing, they do not influence public policy makers. But the achievement of Narmada Bachao Andolan is that in 2003, what has happened? The government has made a policy, National Rehabilitation Policy in 2003. So you should also try to understand, read more. What is this National Rehabilitation Policy? Somebody can Google it, search it, make one presentation. And again, going back to the questions, that the political parties did not much support Narmada Bachao Andolan. Even the opposition party did not support it. Can you give me the reason why the opposition party did not give much support to this cause? Because they might have feared that the big lobby which are behind, let's say, the dam, if the political parties, if they oppose that dam project, they would be not getting support from the big players. So, yes.
And sir, I am a little unhappy with the way the but Narmada Bachao Andolan was done.
Yes.
Because ultimately today डैम वहाँ पे खड़ा है.
Okay.
होना था, लड़ाई हुई, जंग हुई, बट हार भी हुई, कुछ मायने में जीत भी हुई, राइट. बट इसमें प्रॉब्लम ये भी थी कि इसमें 3 स्टेट्स इन्वॉल्व थी, और 3 स्टेट में कभी भी तीनों जगह एक सरकार नहीं थी, राइट. सो पूरे आंदोलन का ना,
थोड़ा जोर से बोलिए, सब सुने ना. हाँ.
पूरे आंदोलन का ना पॉलिटिसाइजेशन हुआ, बिकॉज इसमें आंदोलन का जो सेंट्रल फोकस था वो ट्राइबल्स और लोकल्स थे. अगर उनके साथ इकोलॉजिकल नैरेटिव भी उतना ही तगड़ा होता है, बिकॉज सर पेड़ों की तो कोई पार्टी नहीं है ना, पेड़ों की कोई जात है,
बिल्कुल,
ठीक है, उन्होंने तो जाना ही जाना है, ना मछलियों की कोई पार्टी ना धर्म, ठीक है. तो उस पर पॉलिटिसाइजेशन पॉसिबल नहीं था, राइट. तो ये एक वीक पॉइंट है कि कम्युनिटीज को ध्यान दिया, बट कम्युनिटीज वर इन फोकस बिकॉज उनके आंसू बिक रहे थे, ठीक है. जो एस्पेक्ट्स ऑफ एनवायरनमेंट है उनका ना दुख किसी ने सुना, बिकॉज वो बोल भी नहीं सकते थे, right? तो अगर वो सेम उतना ही स्ट्रांग होता तो शायद आज डैम का इतना नुकसान हमें नहीं देखना.
So he is basically arguing that Narmada Bachao Andolan was okay, the movement was okay, but one weakness which he has spotted is that the Narmada Bachao Andolan has taken up the issue of tribal people, but not the destruction of ecology. And why ecology was not taken up? Because he thinks that ecology is not directly linked with, let's say, vote bank politics, something like that. So whatever you have said, that is not fundamentally against what Narmada Bachao Andolan is saying. Okay. So in 2003, this rehabilitation policies were made. You can do one term paper on that also. And the basic idea, the basic message is, the lesson from this movement is that political parties did not much support. So it has brought us to the previous question.
But sir, जैसे
Yes.
mention कि ecology के लिए nobody talked or something, but NBO was also playing its role.
Yes.
So
Narmada Bachao Andolan. Yes. हाँ.
kind of.
हाँ. Okay. Okay. So political parties, the way they should have supported this movement, they did not support it. But another achievement of this movement is that it brought environmental issues. The debate was brought to the national level, even international level also. So you have to do a study of this movement with the help of Amita Bhashkar's book, In the Belly of River. In the Belly of River, you must read it. She is big writer. Environmental movements are of multiple types. We have talked about Chipko movement. It was around trees, है Then we have talked about this Narmada Bachao Andolan, which was around dams. So some movements are around forest, some movements are around land, some are marine fisheries, aquaculture, some movements are around industrial pollution, some are related to development projects like dams, irrigation project, also industrial plants, railway projects, airport projects, military bases, wildlife sanctuaries, national park, tourism. So you could see that environmental politics, popular movements, green movements, these are multiple, and maybe that some of you may specialize in one area, another persons may be specializing in some other field. So the lesson which we have got today is that largely environmental politics are operating within social and popular movements, and they are operating outside electoral system, and political parties have largely failed to take up those issues. So now it is responsibility of informed citizen, people, scholars like you to get in touch with the community, marginalized people, and stand with all those who are trying to protect environment. So today I have done a brief survey of social and popular movements, and before I close I want to give you the names of some scholars who have worked in this area. I will try to teach one paper, The Environmental Movement, Global Issues and Indian Reality by Janaki Andheria and Chandan Sen Gupta. The varieties of environmental movements which I have just discussed, it is taken from this article. Okay. See, Bandana Siva's paper, the Chipko movement, I will try to share with you so that you could get more information about Chipko movement. This is the book I am talking about, In the Valley of the River, Tribal Conflicts over Development in the Narmada Valley by Amita Bhaveskar. There is another big scholar, Ramchandra Guha, Madhav Gadgil. They have also written so many articles on forests, lands, ecology, Ramchandra Guha and Madhav Gadgil. Okay. So some we will be also reading some work by Smitu Kothari, Pramod Parajuli, and the paper is No Nature Without Social Justice. Then we will be reading Harsh Shetty's argument. Then Bandana Siva, Ecology Movement in India. So these are some of the readings which we are going to study, and this course requires many semesters, but whatever little we can do it, we will do it. And the focus of this course is, which I am trying to do, is to become good human beings.